The lawyers were unmasked, the clients were unmasked, the staff and the judge were unmasked. This week's trial, out of the 14 in the box, there were only 3 or 4 masked. I think it started 4 or 5, and they got comfortable. The witnesses, we had one witness this week. It was an elderly gentleman who apparently wanted to stay masked in the courtroom, but he got in the witness stand. We still have plexiglass up. I think most divisions do, and he unmasked in the witness stand. So we're pretty darn close to normal. The jurors seem comfortable with it. The parties and the lawyers seem comfortable with it. And I think we're getting there. So that's the report. Please come back in person. We love seeing you, and the jurors are here for you.
Thank you. Judge Medler. Oh, wait. Go ahead.
Good afternoon. My name is Judge Medler. I am in the Associate Civil docket right now. First and foremost, we want to welcome Judge Payton. Judge Payton is our new judge, and she is joining us in the Associate Civil docket. So we now have 4 judges doing Associate Civil work, and that's going to be Judge Payton, Judge Gossity, Judge Hearn, and myself. In 2021, we disposed of over 150,000 cases. So things were still moving along. A lot of it was by WebEx, but we were able to keep the docket moving. For 2022, a little bit of what has already been said, but slightly different. Our summonses have gone out, and many of the summons have hybrid, so in person and by WebEx, giving the parties the option to do either. So as those summonses are still out there, we're honoring that. So we're going to kind of wean off of WebEx. So our trial dockets will still be in person. Our motion dockets are in person, but the bulk call docket is going to be a hybrid as we proceed and the summonses start saying come in person. So we're hoping by the beginning of June, all of the WebEx will be gone, and we won't have that as an option unless a judge decides to do that for a status conference or something like that. Again, we've gone from 6 Associate Civil down to 4, and we're going to stay that way probably until July, until the governor gives us a new judge, which means that our dockets are much larger than normal. So what we're asking is that everybody pre-announce their cases as much as possible. Our dockets are ranging from 150 to 400 on the docket. The more that are pre-announced, the better. It moves the docket a lot faster, and it makes it better for all of the other lawyers that are there on the docket. On our website, we have bulk filer guidelines. Those guidelines are not just for the bulk filers. That's how everything in Associate Civil should be run. If you didn't know it was there, if you just go there, do a search for bulk, you'll be able to see the guidelines, and we would ask that you read those so you get a better idea how to do things. Certain things like return of summonses, those have to be filed 3 days before your docket date in order for those to be considered. That is by our guideline rules, and so those have to be filed on time. If you have a motion that is going to be heard that is a summary judgment, motion to dismiss, you need to call the the division clerk to get set on their docket. Regular motions like motion to revive judgments, those can be done through our regular motion dockets, but if it's a motion that's going to take half an hour, hour or more, you need to set that with the division. Our clerks are the most important people in the building, and during the last year and a half, we've had an unusual amount of complaints about some lawyers that have been less than professional with our clerks. That is not going to be tolerated by any of our judges. It is bad. Please be extremely respectful to our clerks. They are doing more work than you can imagine. They're overworked and underpaid, as you all well know. I would ask that you be overly respectful to our staff, especially our clerks. I do realize that in 2022, some firms and companies have relaxed their dress codes, but the court has not. So that includes in person and in WebEx. Over the last year and a half that I've been on the bench, I have seen attorneys show up in t-shirts, hoodie sweatshirts, and hats. I'm shocked by this. You don't see any of the judges doing that. We all represent the legal system. I'm going to ask that whether or not you're on WebEx or in person, please dress like a lawyer. I appreciate that. Finally, the dismissal dockets are dismissal dockets. If your case doesn't have a date on it, it will go on a dismissal docket and it will get dismissed. Simply filing something that says, take me off the dismissal docket isn't going to work either. You need to call the division clerk and ask to be put on a different date specific, and then you file that memo requesting it be removed from the dismissal docket and put on a different date. We are trying to get our dockets moving because our dockets are much larger than usual. So to the extent that you guys can get your stuff filed and filed timely, we would really appreciate it. And that's all I've got. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. For those of you who have been practicing for some time, it won't be a surprise to you that I'm here to talk about the associate criminal dockets because, of course, I happily sat in Division 31 for many moons. But not a lot to report there, much of the same. But the main thing for attorneys practicing in the associate criminal divisions is to know that the dockets will be in person, that is the strong presumption, unless otherwise instructed by the judges. Right now, as all of you know, there are 3 judges sitting in associate criminal, and that may change at the end of next year. So that's something to keep in mind as well. We are well aware that the dockets are huge right now. And I know that, but I expect that those numbers will come down. And I would ask, and the judges in associate criminal ask for your patience as we work through a small backlog in associate criminal. I'm just trying to make sure I haven't forgotten anything else. If there is a specific instruction for your case, that will be conveyed to you in the judge's website. One thing, and I think Judge Medler mentioned it, many of the notices and the summonses that have gone out will talk about hybrid. And those, we're just going to have to roll through those because, as you know, many of those notices went out in January for subsequent dates. So I'm letting you know, and by administrative order and by this town hall meeting, that the presumption is that everything is in person unless you are instructed otherwise. So they're very, very excited in associate criminal to be returning back to in person because, as we all know, I think things go a little bit faster. That's not to say that WebEx is being abandoned. That is not the case. There will be some efficiencies and some methods and manners in which individual judges in the associate criminal courts use WebEx. But for any appearances, and certainly anything that is an evidentiary hearing requiring the administration of an oath, those proceedings across the board will be in person. All right? Thank you. Now, we're going to hear from Judge Watson about probate.
Hello, I am Commissioner Misty Watson. I also send greetings from Judge Levy as well as Commissioner Gus. Thank you very much. If you don't know where probate's located, we're up on the 5th floor in the southeast side. Not a lot of people come visit us from time to time from those that appear here, but I do try to call it the penthouse. No one else has started referring to that yet. During COVID, our cases increased by over 1/3. And we, unfortunately, our staff decreased, it feels like, by 1/3. So we do ask for your patience as we process your matters and get to them as quickly and diligently as possible. We would invite everyone to attend our next probate town hall. We do those on a quarterly basis. Our next date is June 16th at 3 p.m. If you want to receive information about that, please sign up for our listserv. So just go to St. Louis County Probate Court and sign up for the listserv by clicking on that button, and you'll be able to join us and receive regular updates of what's going out on the probate listserv that we do try to get out, but probably monthly something, and especially as we're going between virtual and in-person hearings, a lot of times we will have updates in regards to that. Our initial appearances are still going to be via WebEx for most matters, and the reason is that we are still sharing courtrooms up in probate. While they are building a 3rd courtroom, we are still sharing courtrooms between the commissioners at this time. So most initial appearances will be via WebEx in regards to setting those for a trial, for a hearing, and then at that time it will be in person. We will, so there will be some hybrid. Of course, any person may request an in-person hearing. You request it, you get it. That is going to be our rule. We also recently are adding some bailiffs to our staff, which we're very excited about. Mr. Beeman is going to be serving in Division 67, and we're excited to have him aboard. And finally, as I alluded to, we're going to be undergoing some construction up in probate, hopefully soon, fingers crossed. So, just again, be patient as we're moving the entire file room around, all the people that are sitting in those seats, and those are the people that accept the cases. So they may not have a desk one day, and so we do just ask that you have a lot of patience with our staff, and utilize that patience whenever you're contacting them. Please be respectful to them. We just continue to request that. Other than that, we have a great bar. We're very proud of it, and we enjoy what we're doing. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Judge Dodson and Commissioner Keefe. Commissioner Keefe.
Good afternoon. I'm Commissioner Keefe, and I am sitting in juvenile. Judge Dodson is our new administrative family court judge. We also welcome Judge Cunningham and Judge Lay to the family court. I'm going to talk about domestic first. Obviously, there's been much discussion about opening up and bringing people in. Orders of protection are now open and are going to be in person. We will now be having hearings in person. We are leaving it up to individual judges as to whether or not they wish to do settlement conferences via WebEx. Certainly, some members of the bar have found it to be helpful because of the fact that timing spent and not as much waiting around. But I think we all recognize that there is a certain synergy of people in the courthouse, and sometimes we all can get more accomplished when we're all present together. We are very aware of the fact that the family court has a backlog as well. You're hearing it about everybody. It's not new knowledge. We're very excited about two different things that are going in effect that are going to try to help deal with that backlog. First thing I want to do is remind everybody, mandatory mediation, Form 15. Remember to go ahead and prepare and file your Form 15s and pay attention to that, all right? Secondly, we have two new programs that are going into effect. The first, and both voluntary. The first of which is a pretrial conference. So it's an order for a pretrial conference with a non-family court judge. In essence, and when you see what a proposed order looks like, what it really is you're at a point in the case where you think, with some guidance from the court and some hard guidance from the court, that you may be able to get things wrapped up. So we have judges who are not in the family court who have volunteered to serve as what I'll call as mediators, right? They're going to be there to help you see if you can bring it over the finish line and give you their hard thoughts about how this might work and trying to help you get through it. That person is not going to provide any information to the trial court. It does not mean that you lose your place in line in the trial court. It does mean it's a place where you can go to see whether or not, with good guidance, with your clients present, that you may be able to reach a resolution. And we're very excited about that. The second thing that we are excited about is a program where, because we're aware that, again, because of the volume of cases, the trial schedules are really backed up. So we have had judges volunteer, non-family court judges, volunteer to try cases. Again, voluntary, if you want to do that. We have a pool of non-family court judges who you would be randomly assigned. They will have time available. The good news is these are judges who will say, we can give you a trial within 60 days. So don't jump on that train if you aren't ready. Don't jump on that train to come in and say, oh yeah, can we get another date when you arrive the date of trial? No, that's not how that works. These are people who are expecting you can't get it resolved. You're going to come in that day, open up the trial books and get started, right? So again, voluntary, but a really nice way for us to try to decrease our caseload and address the backlog. And I also want to thank the non-family court judges who are willing to take this on. I think that you can tell among the courthouse, everybody is trying to address are their backlogs, and everybody's trying to help each other. And that's really important. And I want you to know that everybody here is working very hard and understands, because everybody was a practicing attorney and in your place, that we're really just trying to do the best we can, all right, to get that forward. There are some other ideas that are being floated around. We're going to look for input from the Family Law Bar on how to bring that home, to try to do some new things and innovative things. So keep your eyes posted for that, and we're always open for suggestions. All right, in the juvenile court, we're saying goodbye to somebody. Commissioner Monahan is retiring as of May. For those who didn't know, the application period for her job is open through March 31st. I believe they contact Mr. Long, who is our human resources. So we're sad to see her go, but I will say her docket's in great shape because she's so organized, so that's the good news. So at juvenile court, we're still doing our review hearings virtually, and frankly, I think even going beyond when we move forward into a really full opening up, we will still probably offer those as hybrid. Anybody who is in the juvenile field knows that across the state and frankly across the country, we have found that by going virtual, the involvement of the parents has just skyrocketed. So for people who couldn't take that half day off work, could not get to the courthouse, they can get on a camera and they can be there and they can be part of the review hearing and part of the process. And because we're a treatment court, we want to do what is going to be best for those clients, and frankly, ends up to be best for the children because we have that involvement of the parents. So, but please look to people's websites as to how they're doing things. Obviously, anything contested, any types of trial are going to be in person. And we were actually very excited up on our floor this week because in every division, we've had trials in person. We've had the good news and bad news of we've had people who were confined who had to come over. So we had those things of being involved. So we're trying to move forward. Our backlog is in our termination of parental right hearings, and we're moving on those. So another new twist in what's happening in the juvenile court is the adoption matters are now being spread among everybody. So I would ask you right now, so Judge Dunn and myself and Judge Dodson will be the three who will be hearing adoptions. Commissioner Monahan opted out simply because of now she didn't want to make the decision for somebody else. But we will be putting information on our individual websites about how you set up your hearings, right? And so that's what we have going there. Our final situation, or what we have going on that's overall in the family court, are guardian ad litem. Right now, and anybody who does GAL work knows that we have dedicated guardian ad litem in the juvenile system who work on a basis in each division. They may represent a parent, they may represent the child, and it's a fairly, it's a part-time job. I mean, so we have one opening right now. It's possible there will be one or two other openings. So we are looking for applicants. Anybody who is interested, wants to work, but really wants to help. Again, Ed Long is who they would be in contact with about applying for those positions. Another idea that we're floating and talking about is the idea of having a substitute list. Maybe somebody who is interested in juvenile but doesn't have the ability to dedicate the time to being one of the dedicated juvenile GALs. If we're going to start trying to put together a list of people who might be interested to substitute. We have cases where, unfortunately, sometimes we need 6 to 8 attorneys because of the amount of children and the amount of parents, et cetera. So if anybody is interested in that type of looking at that, or even involvement in talking about how we might arrange that, if you would email any of us and let us know, because that would really be helpful. Finally, I do want to let you know that we are in conversation with the St. Louis County Bar to talk about putting on a guardian ad litem CLE. During COVID, I think that we have missed out on those CLEs in person. We've really missed out on the bar doing, as you know, for guardian ad litems, you have to have specific training, and you have to have a specific training every year. So we'll look for that in the fall, and that's what will be happening there. Judge Dodson, did I miss anything?
Oh.
Okay. I think we're good, and we look forward to seeing everybody.
Thank you very much. Judge Harden-Tammons, 2 topics. I'll let you choose the order.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I am Judge Harden-Tammons, as many of you know. I'm going to start off talking about the municipal courts. So, as you know, the municipal courts were mandated to get on Show Me Courts. If you're not on Show Me Courts, you need to be on Show Me Courts because the deadline has come and gone. If you need assistance, please reach out to our court monitor, which is Celeste Dotson, or any member of the municipal court committee. That is myself, Judge Newsham, Judge Payton, and Judge Hearn. So please reach out to us. If you've got questions or concerns about Show Me Courts, please reach out to us. We're here to provide some assistance to you. As you heard from Judge Ott, the administrative order that was handed down on March 8th is applicable to the municipal divisions. And it states, as of March 14th, 2022, it shall be presumed that all court procedures are conducted in person unless instructed otherwise by the court presiding over the case, and any such remote proceeding shall be limited to non-evidentiary matters, not requiring the administration of an oath unless such administration is specifically authorized by statute or court rule. Okay? So the municipal divisions you're governed by the same administrative order. With regard to County Circuit Court website, if for up-to-date information that you may need to get regarding the municipal court. As I mentioned who was on our committee. I mentioned the court monitor. Feel free to reach out to us if you should have questions. You all know where to reach me. With regard to treatment court, I am the new treatment court judge as of January 1st, 2022. The treatment court, for those of you who are unaware about what it's all about, it provides an alternative to incarceration for persons charged with low-level crimes. The idea behind treatment court is that if you treat the individual's problem or issue or provide alternatives or other options, the person is less likely to be a recidivist in the future. And that benefits everyone. And it benefits that person's community, that individual, and us as a whole, the state as a whole. So the St. Louis County Treatment Court has 4 branches. We have the DWI Court, the Drug Court, Mental Health Court, and Veterans Court. If you have someone who you believe will benefit from one of these courts or being involved in the alternative court, you need to have your client screened. You need to contact the prosecuting attorney's office, one of the treatment court administrators, or feel free to reach out to me. If you are a judge who has someone coming through on your criminal dockets and you believe that that person would benefit from the treatment court, please reach out to me. All cases for the treatment court will be held in person effective April 1st, 2022. I'm the treatment court judge, but we do have a treatment court commissioner, and that's Commissioner Megan Julian. So all cases will be conducted in person. Many of the matters right now are being done in person. Obviously, all the pleas are done in person, and anything that involves the administration of an oath is done in person. But effective April 1st, if you have someone on that docket, they will need to appear in person. So feel free to reach out to me if you have questions about treatment court. We are updating the website. Feel free to reach out to John Buck, Mary Davis, myself, or someone from the prosecuting attorney's office if you have questions and you believe you have someone who would qualify for one of these programs. Thank you.
I'd like to thank all of the presenters here today. And I would like also the only sort of place I'd like to say that if anyone has any questions about the Director of Revenue, Department of Revenue cases, I would direct you to Commissioner McCarthy. And I can tell you that those are being conducted in person. But again, everybody's going to have to be a little bit flexible as some of the summonses that had previously gone out are still allowing for WebEx appearance. But what I would like to say is thank you to the presenters and thank you to those of you in attendance. I am told that we do not have any questions. This is a remarkable thing, and I think because we've covered everything so beautifully that no one has any questions. But as you ponder the information here today, or you come into contact of other circumstances that we did not anticipate here today, I'm sure that you may have questions. And I would like to say that my door, along with all of the judges here, our doors are open, and we are always eager to hear from the bar, to hear questions, comments, suggestions, compliments, also welcome. But very grateful for the very good rapport and relationship that this bench has with the bar. But if anyone has any questions, we'll take them now. I'm told there are none. Again, excellent work. But I know that my door is always open, and I know I speak for my colleagues when I say theirs are as well. So I hope that this helps to explain where we're headed post-COVID. I can assure you that our attention is drawn at all times to meeting the needs of the public, meeting the needs of the bar, and coming out of COVID and catching up on some of the backlog that we have. So with that, I will say thank you, good afternoon, and be well. We look forward to seeing you here in the courthouse, 105 South Central. Thank you.